Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Aces High here, and today I'm bringing you guys something a little closer to my own home. It's going to be how geography of the U.S. is weirder than you think. So, everybody realizes there's some places that are just kind of weird that you didn't realize were like that. Like up in Washington, where I'm from, the water cuts in and then it goes down for no reason. It's not a normal bay where it kind of just, comes in. Instead, it's like a big L. It kind of looks like the water kind of looks like the shape of Florida. So it's very interesting. I happen to know that's because a landmass smacked into it a long time ago and kind of sealed it off. But I'm sure a lot of things like that will be on there. I'm really excited to check it out. This video is originally posted by Real Life Lore. They're a great channel. If you guys haven't seen them, I would 100% go check them out. And if y'all are ready, let's get going.
Exclusively by going to audible.com/reallifelore in the description. This is a map of the United States, and hundreds of years of colonization and laws has made the country's geography pretty weird in more than just a few places. Today, I'm going to show you a few maps that will change your perception of how you see this country and its place in the world. First of all, South America. At first glance, it seems like South America is directly south of North America, and while that's kind of the case, it's also not entirely accurate. If we were to move South America up, you'd find that nearly the
Wow.
entire continent is east of Florida, and that the westernmost edge would only be about 380 miles west of the Azores, which are a part of Portugal. Next up, if you had to guess right now which US state is closest to Africa, which one would you say?
Which U.S. state? Uh, well, the Pacific's huge, but Hawaii's really far away. Probably gonna guess Florida. That's what everybody wants to guess. This is a trick question. I'm going with Maine. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.
If you didn't say Maine, you're wrong, but yeah, despite being in the Northeast and sharing a long border with Canada, if you draw a straight line across the ocean, you'll see that Maine is in fact the closest state geographically to Africa. Moving on next to Texas, there's a couple pretty weird things about this state. First of all, this town that nobody has ever heard of called Dalhart. This
Yeah.
town is located 485 miles away from the Texan state capital of Austin, which means that Dalhart is actually closer to the state capitals of New Mexico, Oklahoma, Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, and Wyoming. Six
Wow.
other different states. Another way to understand just how big Texas actually is by taking a look at the city of El Paso, located in the westernmost edge of the state. If you draw a line from here to the easternmost edge of Texas, and then move that line over to point to the west, you'll see that the line goes past Los Angeles, meaning that LA is closer to El Paso than the other side of Texas is.
Just so that you guys understand exactly how far that is, um, I actually drove probably right through here because I came in through Arkansas, kind of crooked like this, and it passed out through El Paso. We drove for 8 to 10 hours a day, and it took us 2.5 days to get across that. Texas is huge.
But LA itself is in a deceiving geographic location of its own. You would think that since it's on the west coast, it would be further west than most other US cities, but that's not totally true either. Reno, Nevada is actually located further west than LA is, which you can see when a line is
Interesting.
drawn from Reno southwards. And speaking of weird senses of latitude, here's some more examples that might mess with your head a little. Austin, Texas is roughly on the same latitude as Cairo, Egypt. New York City is roughly equal to Madrid in Spain, Minneapolis is close to Venice, Vancouver is almost equal to Paris, and Calgary in Canada is almost equal to London. The North American continent has much cooler temperatures.
See, I've actually heard that before. So they said Vancouver, BC is pretty much equivalent to Paris. I've heard that in Washington we have very similar climate to like Germany. So it makes sense that it's in that same type of area. I know Germany's up a little bit more, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense if you draw a line like that.
On average than Europe does at higher latitudes like this, which is why this is a little confusing. But perhaps equally confusing is what happens when you look at a globe and flip it on its side. If you start at Mexico City and draw a straight line out in this direction, you'll be amazed to find how many other cities the line roughly matches up with. From Mexico City, the line also goes through Atlanta, Washington, D.C., New York City, Paris, and eventually Izmir in Turkey. The perception is weird because we usually think of the world in terms terms of a map and not in terms of its true spherical shape. The final geographic oddities in America that I'll be discussing in this video are located around the northernmost parts of the country. First up in this region is Detroit, where if
Okay.
you start in the downtown region and travel south, you'll end up pretty quickly in Canada. If you head east, you'll also
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is that true? You head south of Detroit at a section, you're in Canada? I thought Canada was north. That's crazy. Does it just kick out at one certain spot?
also end up in Canada. If you go north, you'll end up in Lake Huron, and then eventually Canada again. It's easy to end up in Canada while in Detroit, but it's even easier while in Point Roberts, an exclave of the United States south of Vancouver. The only
Oh, I know this one. Sorry to pause it so much on this video, you guys, but this one, Vancouver, BC. See, this is only an hour ferry ride from my home in Seattle. This is America right here, and this is all Canada. So they have to take a ferry off, or they have to travel into Canada in order to leave.
only way to get from this part of America to the other part of America is by driving 25 miles through Canada, using their very small airport or taking a boat across the bay. There's over 1,300 people that live here, and only one school that only provides education up to 4th grade. From 4th grade on, American children in the point have to take a 40-minute bus ride through Canada to the other side of the US. And finally, let's talk a little bit about Alaska. Alaska is pretty obviously the northernmost US state, but it's also at the same time the westernmost and easternmost state because of the international date line located here, which part of Alaska crosses over. The date line causes another weird situation here though on the Diomede Islands, where it crosses between one island owned by Russia and another island owned by the United States. The result is that despite only being just a couple miles away from one another, the Russian island is 21 hours ahead in time from the American island. This has led the islands to be nicknamed as Yesterday Island and Tomorrow Island, and during the winter when the water around the islands freeze, it becomes theoretically possible to walk between America and Russia. While in reality it may be illegal to walk between the two islands, something that isn't illegal at all is clicking the link in this video's description to get a free audiobook of your choice at audible.com/.
All right. Well, let's have a chat about that, you guys. So what'd you think? I thought it was really interesting. There's just definitely some quirks in the U.S. that you can talk about and you can check out. The one that really gets me that I want to talk about is up there near Vancouver. There's that little section, that little peninsula that sticks out into the U.S. that they showed. Um, Something that's really interesting is during these times of COVID-19 and coronavirus, uh, Americans aren't welcome in Canada. They're not allowed in. So the people up there, we're actually ferrying them here in Washington. We're ferrying them food and things like that because it's either they leave by boat or they don't leave. They can't cross into Canada to drive it to the rest of the United States. It's yeah, it's very interesting. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought. As always, if you like the content, hit that like button. Give me a comment with some ideas on what you want me to do next. I really do like maps. I really do like history, so I'm going to keep that stuff rolling. And if you're new to the channel, hit that sub button, ring the bell. Trust me, you won't regret it, and I appreciate it. Till next time, I love you guys. This is Ace High. I'm out.